So I decided to invite my friends who are I decided to invite my friends who are already monetizing their work on Upwork. I mean, let's share. The more people make money, the better for our society. So we had Benga last week. If you haven't listened to, I suggest you please do. All right. So Jite, the floor is yours, and you have the table of content. You have the agenda.
Yes.
So let's uh, let's move it.
Okay, thank you, Olamide. So I'm on Jite. You can call me Jite if on Jite is too long or hard for you to pronounce. So I've been actively on Upwork for I think 2 years, but a bit over 2 years. But in terms of freelancing, I've been freelancing for over 5 years, about close to 6 years now. So my first time on Upwork was in 2016 during July, and when I entered, I was looking into expanding. Okay, so yeah, back on. Because I was saying, I the first time I got into Upwork was in 2016, and I had been freelancing through, I think I'd used freelancer.com, and I wasn't having a good experience at all. A lot of, bots and people, and one job, you just see it, and within 2 minutes you have so many applicants, like 50 to 100, and you're wondering what's going on. So it was more like a race to who would be the lowest. So I was looking for platforms where I would expand and all of that. And at the same time, I was also doing a lot of cold emailing, where you send emails to website owners saying you want to work for them. And while that works for many people, it wasn't really working so well for me as at that time. So I came across Upwork, signed up, got accepted, and I'm sure if you had followed the previous Upwork discussion webinar that Olamide had, you'd see, you'd have heard what Mr. Benga said about getting accepted on Upwork. So you have to use an in-demand skill, especially since you're in Africa and they don't just accept people like that. So as at 2016, the competition wasn't so much. So I just used writing. I got accepted, but I made a mistake. I went against their terms and conditions. I I think a client I sent a proposal to messaged me back, and I said, let's take it outside of work. That's a big red flag. Once you do that, as I did, I think I was trying to avoid 20% fees. But once you do that, Upwork will ban you. And if you use your name again, that same name, even if it's another email address, they'll ban you again. So there's
Wow.
no way for you to come back. There are some times you would fail that they would allow you come back, but there are some. But luckily for me, it was a sort of a nickname I used, not my full name. So in 2018, having still been using other platforms, I chose to try again. So I tried after the first banning using another email address. They still banned me since I use the same name. So 2018, I tried another approach. I decided to use my full name this time, since it wasn't, luckily for me, I didn't use that previously. And one thing with Upwork is you sort of need to use your full name because your name has to tally with your withdrawal details. So in 2018, when I did that, initially I didn't get accepted. And the reason was because of the skills. I was applying to write, and I think as at then I wasn't, though I was good at SEO, but I wasn't so good, so I didn't want to, you know, put a skill that I didn't feel I was an expert in. So I had to research what the in-demand skills on Upwork are, which is something you should do if you haven't been accepted yet. And I found out that things relating to artificial intelligence and blockchain, according to lots of blogs, were in demand as at then, but I didn't know any of those. So I just randomly put civil engineering, even though it wasn't connected to me. But the main thing with Upwork is, so I got in. I think I later moved the skill anyways after about a year. By then I was top rated, so I mean, Upwork is making money from me, so they didn't think they're going to push me out. Anyway, so that was how I got accepted to Upwork. I think I got my first job within 2 weeks. Got my
Wow.
first in 2 weeks, and it was a very simple job, just a service description. The client came back again, which is another thing um, you should think of when being on Upwork. If you have returning clients, your status increases. So that if you check your stats, because in Upwork, in your profile section, there's a place you see your stats. You see clients that recommend you and your returning clients. Those would affect, where Upwork rates you. So the client came back 3 times and it gave me more visibility. And that, pushed me to another job. I got another within, I think, 2-3 months. And from there, I think about 2 months later, I became top rated. So
Just within
that's
two.
the not everything was in 2 months. I said there was a time, so everything was around 6 months, 6 to 7 months. Then after that, once you are top rated, it's easier for you to get jobs. Because at the start I was just doing the $5 jobs, then my hourly rate was around $8 or 7. Then after I became top rated, I had the chance to expand that and start applying for jobs that were better. And another thing with Upwork is, it's at the start though, you might, given that you don't have any reviews yet, because most clients don't want to come to you if you don't have reviews at all, you might want to take a low-paying job just to get at least 1 5-star review on your profile before you then start going for the jobs that fit what your status. You might have to get maybe a $5 job or $1 test and manage just to get that 5-star. And after that, but be careful the jobs you are taking, because if you take a job that is so low, your next client will want to judge you based on that job. So I guess that should cover the introductory aspect. Let me not go too deep. Alright, so to the next part, or
So choosing a skill. I really want you to talk about choosing a
can you hear?
skill. Jite, can you
Okay.
hear me? It's very
Yes, I can hear
important,
you now.
and I'm glad you talked about not earning jobs. But I'm going to ask you questions much later. But choosing a,
Okay.
how do you know the skill to choose, not work, or to work with? And for example, I'm using myself. You know about, you've been helping me with my profile and everything, but
Yeah.
how do I know? And there seems to be a lot of freelancers doing digital marketing. So how do you know
Mm.
the skills to choose? And this is before we go to specialization. There are so
Yeah.
many people out there. How do you know what to do and not to?
Okay. Before that, like I mentioned, when you're registering, you're going to have to choose the skills that you're going to offer. But due to being accepted, you might have to choose more than what you would actually work with. But make sure the skills you are choosing at that point are part of what you would offer. Then in terms of those that you would offer, there are many ways to get it, but it has to be something you know. If you don't know it, ensure you do courses. And even the whole course thing is not something you should keep doing even after you know what you are doing. Even if, for example, you are offering SEO service, you still need to keep updating yourself. If you are doing copyright, you still need to take classes on behavioral economics and all of that. But to choose your skills, first think of what you can do. If currently maybe you are someone that writes poem in your free time, or you are good with fiction, you can think of, to start with fiction or start with ebook writing. If you know you are good with getting information from the internet, you can think of writing blogs based on research. So you have to first think of what can you do right now. Then secondly, think of what you. There are many Nigerians that have many skills because they didn't know what to do, so they learned many things. But even when you have 10 skills, there are those that you don't really like doing. So if you end up getting those jobs, you might end up delaying and getting past the deadline, and that would only affect your profile negatively.
So you have to also think of skills that you love to do. It maybe digital marketing is very broad. There are many areas. There's PPC, even on that. There's social media. Even on that social media, there's still strategy. There's still the advertising part. There's the organic growth part. So there are different aspects of digital marketing. So even if you know everything, assuming you know everything, there are parts that you love to do. Maybe you only love the PPC part of digital marketing.
Focus more on that. Focus more on applying for jobs that are under PPC. Like I said at the beginning, you might need one job that will give you the 5 star. So you just have to, you don't see a PPC job, use one of your other skills and apply for a job there. But choose a skill, something you like to do, and think of what you know. And if you don't know anything, and you think, okay, these are the in-demand skills, these are things that make money right now. Let's say digital marketing, you have heard it makes money. Go and learn a skill. Then do not just choose skills anyhow. Also think of demand. You might love to maybe do logos only, just logos, which is great. There's demand for logos, but most clients looking to do logos and not just looking for only logos. They might want a logo designer, and so
We missed you there. They might want a logo designer and what?
Branding, like
Jite.
can you hear me now?
No, we can't hear you. So we missed you at they might want a logo designer and you were talking.
Okay, I said they might want a logo design and full-on branding. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, they might also want logo design and maybe websites. You hardly see clients that just say, okay, they only want logos. There are clients like that, but they are very few. And that might really limit how much you would make. So you might only like maybe the research part of SEO. Maybe you only like keyword research. But most clients are not looking to pay for keyword research. They might pay for maybe things like SEO audit, but they're not willing to pay for just keyword research. They also want you to implement it. So it's not just only about what you like, but also about what's in demand. So you have to find a way to match both. So if you only like the keyword research part, you have to find a way to learn how to implement the suggestions you are giving based on your research as well. If you choose to do only one part, you might end up not making any money at all because there's no demand for just that one thing.
Okay. So when you get that about that, now to specialization. You mentioned it, but digital marketing is broad.
Yes.
And do so. What if I can do social media management, social media advertising, keyword research, CPC, SEO, blah blah blah. Cleaning, writing, MailChimp, outbound, and everything. Why do I need to specialize? Because it is very important. I know all of these skills, and I'm on Upwork, and I see so many people also have. So why do I need to specialize, and what will make me unique?
Okay.
Because you are a digital marketer,
Yeah.
you, for example, a digital marketer, but you are trying to focus on two main parts on Upwork, which is SEO and copywriting.
Yes.
Right? Is there any
I don't
other?
SEO. I don't work for every niche. I have niches that I only work for.
Please tell us more.
Okay. So the thing is, if you don't check the normal world, every great big business now didn't start as a general provider. It's only small ones. So, and one thing is, there are thousands of people already on Upwork. And if you choose to say yes, if you choose to say you want to offer everything, a client might not trust that you are the best at everything. So they are looking for the best service. So if they see someone that just offers only that service, it's more likely that that person is best at that one thing than you that offers 10 things. You are good at them, great, but you're not the best at those 10 altogether. So That's one thing. It's one, perception, and two, mastering your craft. If, like I said, in terms of perception, what the client would think seeing your general profile is, general service provider. I said, if I just need, let's say, digital marketing manager in my company, I wouldn't think of hiring you. So then, about mastering, it's harder to master something when you are giving everything. If you are giving SEO alone, it's a very broad subject. I'll put it out. There are people that specialize in just SEO audits, which can take you days to do for just one website. There are people that do SEO audits and implementation. And even in SEO, there are people that don't work for every brand. For example, I don't do travel, and I have my reasons anyways. But all those things, you cannot master everything if you choose to do everything, because like I said, as you are working, you need to keep improving on your skills to ensure that you are in line with what the current industry quality that is the word, quality content or digital marketing, whatever area you are, the current industry specifications are. You need to be in line with that, and you can't keep following what's the new thing in social media, organic growth, what's the new thing in social media strategy, what's the new thing. You end up not knowing everything, and that's just the truth. And like I said, the most important thing is perception. You want your client to see you as the best, and for them to see you as the best, you need to be specialized in something that they are looking for.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So I think I've okay. How do I know what to specialize on? So I have this skills. How do I know what to specialize on in digital marketing? How do I know what to specialize on? Just like you said, you don't do travel. How do I know that I'm not supposed to do travel? Maybe I should just focus on tech. So how do a newbie know what to focus on Upwork?
Okay. So, as I mentioned when we were talking about choosing your skill, you would have to first think of the things you like doing that are also in demand. So when you have chosen that, next thing you have to think of is, even in that thing, in what one part to go through in those things, to think of in what industry do you want to work in. And sometimes these things are trial and error. It's not something that you might choose from day one and be sure. Because when I initially started, I just wanted to do, I started as product service descriptions. That's what I started as. And then after a while, due to the fact that I was doing blog writing outside, I added that with SEO. But then I started realizing that there are some industries that, given that I don't really have so much experience in them, it was harder to work in compared to the ones I loved working in. I noticed that I preferred e-commerce over things like travel. So all those things, like I said, sometimes it has to be trial and error if you don't know what to do. But at the start, your skills have to, in terms of skills, you have to niche your skill down, even though it's not niched down to industry. So you choose a part of digital marketing that you love doing, you are good at, and it's in demand. Then apply for jobs, general jobs around that, and with time you would know what exactly to specialize on. Like I said, sometimes it has to be trial and error. But if you're already niched down before you join Upwork, that's great. You just continue like that.
Okay, that makes sense. I actually also want to say ask this in choosing. Now, I'm a newbie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been even high that is asking you this question. I've been searching for work for the past 2 weeks and nothing has
Mm,
happened.
yeah.
I haven't said I've fixed my profile, I've done this, I've done that. So how do I search? I know Benga talked about it, but I want you to talk about it more because you have returning clients, and I've
Yes.
seen your profile. I know that I know how much you have made in thousands. I'm not going to speak if I lie if you want to, but me, I've been searching, and a lot
Mm.
of people have been searching, and some of the questions I'm going to ask too. So how do we search? Do we search from the lowest, or now I'm a digital marketer, I have my specialization. But can I still go and look for data entry jobs so that we shall have something to add to my profile?
Well, except if you want to now start offering data entry as a service, as that's what you want to be giving on Upwork, I wouldn't advise that, because, like I said, what you have on your profile would would also determine how clients will judge you. And also it would also affect where Upwork would rank you. If you're only doing data entry jobs and you become top rated from there, Upwork, when clients search, before they post jobs, Upwork allow them to, choose freelancers they will invite. And when clients do that, since your heading is saying writer, but your jobs is data entry, Upwork would likely not put you among the top to recommend to that client. And only if they do, the client will see data entry and be like, ah. So when you're looking for jobs, that's something you should put in mind. Then another thing is Upwork actually, if you have chosen your skills before you register, Upwork, the jobs you will see on your profile in the find job area are based on the skills you chose when you were registering. Always edit that. I'm not try it, but I think you can always edit it. There should be a way to do it. You can also manually search, type in jobs, maybe S. Then there are also things you look for, because things like product reviews. There are certain jobs that there are very many people, which I didn't talk about earlier. I shouldn't talk about it now. There are many jobs, though they are in demand, there is so much supply. So things like I've noticed, and for digital marketing, I think product also have issues. Product reviews, or not just any reviews, but I've worked for web hosting reviews before, and there was not so much demand supply, but product reviews that within 5 minutes you already have.
The line is breaking. We don't know. We can't really hear you well.
My internet to Nigeria has done to us.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you see me?
I can see you, boys, but that's not even the issue. We need to hear you. So I hear you talk about product reviews being being in high demand, web hosting review. Then what you were talking about jobs that are in high demand.
Okay, I was saying it's not just only about sorry. It's not only about jobs that are in demand, it's also about the supply. You have chosen your skill based on what's in demand, but before you apply for some jobs, you would also realize that the supply is so much that you can't compete. And I mentioned some jobs are like that: the product review side and web design. Within 5 minutes, you already see up to 50 people have applied for those jobs. So another thing to think of when searching for jobs is, you can't force a client to post a job, right? That's why I said before you choose a skill, make sure it's in demand. Else you'll be watching your profile, waiting for a job in what your skill to come up, and to never come up. So if it's in demand, definitely a job will come up. But it's if you want to do that job, and if the client is actually serious. There are certain clients you need to stay away from. Don't bother applying. Don't waste your connect. One, yeah. One, those people that have unverified payments, and they don't look. There are people that have unverified payments, but they are Upwork the plus clients, Upwork plus clients. You see Upwork plus in the job, you can apply for those ones. But if it's just payment unverified, they just registered on Upwork today or yesterday, they're likely not to even take anybody. They just want to see. Then secondly, as the way same way Upwork allows the client to rate you, you are also allowed to rate the client. So before you apply for any job, always check the client's rating. What do other freelancers say about this client? If the rating is not so good, maybe people are saying working with the client is a nightmare, or the client always changes description of jobs, do not apply. I don't think you'll be different. The client, that's just how the client is. It will end up being a nightmare for you, and you may end up with a 2-star job when it wasn't your fault, and that will just kill your profile. So that's another thing. And thirdly, look at the description of the job. There are many people that apply for so many jobs, but they don't get any. And that's because they don't really read the description. First, I'll talk about tailoring your application to the description, and secondly, tailoring it to the length of the description. And I think I had even discussed this with Lami earlier. But when you're applying for jobs on Upwork, it's not your normal Nigerian. Normal Nigerian cover letter can be one full page long, and your potential employer will read everything and want to know your family history and everything. You can put it, and your potential employer will be fine with it. But I've noticed on Upwork, the shorter the better. The main thing is to answer the questions and show um, the benefits that you be giving to the client. They want to know what you will do, and they want to know how you will do it, but they are more interested in what would I get from this. So if, for example, you are seeing a job about let's say we want to rank for so and so keywords. We are thinking of articles to write, but we don't really know where to start from. Instead of saying I've been an article writer for 5 years, blah blah blah, I can write for you, and you write that very long. You can just write in 6 lines. It doesn't even have to be long. But like I said, you need to answer everything. You can just say something like, this is what I would offer you. This is how I would do it, and this is the result you will get. You don't need to explain everything. So if, for example, they are saying they are worried about ranking, you can say you don't need to. One thing with SEO is, for example, is you can't really promise results. You can't say you will get 300 clicks. You can promise increased search visibility, for example. So what you would do in that case would be to say, okay, I worked for this client previously, and it got over 1,000 ROI. Or you can say, but when you ensure that your application is benefit oriented, that's the main thing. You need to show them the benefits you are giving them, and how that benefit can connect the description in the problem they are having. So your benefit has to connect to that, has to be a solution to that. That's the main thing, and it doesn't have to be too long. The second thing, in Upwork, aside the cover letter section, there's this question sections I usually see under it, where the client might ask things like, what jobs have you done? You'll see it after your cover letter. Many people make the mistake of paying more attention to their cover letter than that area. And I've sort of been on the client side of Upwork before, and I've seen that Upwork shows the questions, your answers to those questions first before your cover letter. So you need to pay more attention to that part. Yes, you need to pay more attention to that part than even your cover letter, because that's what the client will read first. So in that part, if the client is asking you, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it, don't go with hello, or just explain it, be in depth, and show them the benefits. Then when you get to your cover letter, you can now be a bit more general. But ensure if there are questions with the job description, you should make sure you pay more attention. I'm not saying you should not pay attention to your cover letter. Do that, but pay even more attention to answering those questions, because while Upwork tells you to answer those questions after the cover letter, the client will see your answers first before the cover letter.
Thanks
So
for
that
that.
things you think of.
That I've been focusing more on cover letter than the questions. So I think that's really, really good. Thank you for that. Then now let's talk about money rates. So because of I'm going to use myself as an example. So because of my experience working here in Nigeria for a number of years, starting on Upwork, I just went to put like $20 or $30, and then after I've had to reduce it because I've worked on Upwork before. Maybe I've done 2 or 3 jobs like 5 years ago, and I used the platform just to come back. So just like you explained to us about, how to search for jobs and kind of skills you need to select and all of that. How do we work on our rates? How do we decide the rate to go with on our profile and to give to clients?
Yeah. Okay, so first off, I think I mentioned earlier that clients will judge you based on your previous jobs. So if you choose a rate that is too low, and over time you don't even increase that, every client you meet will judge you on that. If, let's say, the previous job you did, the description there is write 500 words, and you accepted something as funny as $1. If a client comes now and is saying write 500 jobs, and the job description they say their budget is $50, and you apply, it's likely that the client will ask you, why are you offering this when this is what you were offering previously? So that's one thing you should think of. So even when you are starting off, when you can take low paying jobs, make sure they're not too low paying. But in terms of deciding your rates, it's very important anyways. What you currently offer to clients before you join Upwork, maybe you are offering 5k per article, maybe for I don't know how many words, and you want to enter Upwork and you're like, okay, 5k is around 10, 12, $13, I think. And since you are just starting up, that's most still sort of fair to get jobs with. But have that rate in mind. Even though you do not take that rate for your first job, have it in mind that this is what you are actually charging. So if your first job you accept $5 instead of the 15 that you have in mind, at your next job ensure that what you are asking for is higher than that $5. And if it can be between the 5 and 15, but it has to be a gradual increase anyways. Start ensure you have in mind what you want to charge. But if it's so high, like maybe $50 or $30 per hour, as a new freelancer on Upwork that is not in the USA, clients may wonder why you're offering that when there's no single review on your profile. So you can even still leave maybe your hourly rates, but what you would apply, the job when you're applying, what you'd apply would be different. So at a start, your hourly rate can be something like a safe spot when that is not seen as so high is 20 and below. It can be 15, it can be 20, it can be 8, it can be, but don't go for something that's 5 or 2. That's what, anyways, when you look at that, you think the person might not offer you quality. So you can't go too low because it would also affect, like I said, perception is important. If you go too low, they'll think what you're offering will not be of quality. But if you go too high, they'll be like, how can I be sure you would offer me what I want you to offer me? So between maybe 10 to 20 is safe at the start. But as you go on, slowly or like gradually increase your rates so that clients will not keep pushing you back to very low paying jobs. That's one thing you should think of.
So what you have said now is that in knowing our rates, we need to start the rate you want to charge in mind.
Yes.
We need to start, maybe from
Yeah.
$7 to 10 to 15, right? As we get
Yes.
jobs, passing
Yes.
jobs.
You can increase it.
Okay. I think we have.
And as you get jobs, sorry. Okay, let me just say this. And as you get jobs, you can also convince clients to give you higher money than what was previously on your profile. Maybe your first job, just to get a 5-star, you got something very low paying. Ensure that your next job, your cover letter is so nice, so that when the main thing is to get the client to reply you. When the client reply you, you can actually make the client pay double what you got in your previous job, or even double what the client quoted. So it all depends on how you approach the situation. At least I've had. You said?
Without fear, I don't have to be scared.
Yes, I've had about 2 or 3 clients that I've done that with, and it worked. It's all about showing what you are going to give them compared to other people. I think I even had one last 2 weeks. People, according to the client, people bidding, they're bidding around $30, and what I was asking for was times 5 of that. And he asked why, and I said, well, I just told him what they would give you. I gave him an example that what they would give him is this, and I would offer more than that. And he said, okay, let me see what you have done. And I'd done it was an SEO audit job. Although I've done SEO audits previously, but what I've been doing are things that would qualify for the people that are offering 30, that what they would give. So I had to use my sense and say, okay, I would give you something, but it's late in Nigeria, so for tomorrow. And I went to do an in-depth audit for a friend's website. And when he saw that, he was like, okay, fine. He gave me the job for close to what I was asking for. So you can make clients double that. And I haven't had another client that I did that without me showing previous jobs. I just told him, okay, it's about, you have to be a salesperson. That's just, you have to know how to sell yourself. It's like it's about having like your sweet hands. Since you're not talking to them, you need to have sweet hands, to convince them in such a way that you have to show them the benefit you'll be offering them compared to what the other people bidding low are offering. But at the start, like I said, you can take the first job. So if they end up asking you why you're not bidding this, why your first job was that, you can say you just did it to get a review on Upwork. You can just say that. Most clients understand that people do that actually, so it's not something unthinkable.
All right. Thank you, Jite. Before I go to the question and answer session, I need to first apologize to those who got the calendar invite and saw 12:30. It was my error. I was feeling sleepy last night and I wanted to quickly send that. So I sent 12:30 instead of 12. So we started at 12, but not to worry. We got it covered. We're recording this. Now, Jite, I'm going to ask you
Yeah.
questions. So I've tried to streamline the questions to like 12 from about 50 that I got. And this is very particular. And I'm also the first question it really bothers me too, because I was talking to someone, we're discussing in the WhatsApp group I belonged to yesterday, and someone was complaining how hard it is for employers, especially agencies or organizations, to hire Africans, especially Nigerians, on remote work platform. So the question goes, how do Nigerians feel all those of getting jobs on Upwork? And another person asks, how can we maximize opportunity in the remote space? So how do we cross that hurdle as a Nigerian? Of course, there are trust issues, but how do we?
I think in terms of trust issues, that's using Upwork as long as you have gotten in. And again, I don't know for every niche, but personally, I have not experienced the whole Nigerian issue. Saying Nigerians are it's hard to get jobs. What I have, because like I said, I've also been on the client side where I've had to use Upwork for hiring through a friend's profile. So I've seen, the kind of applications people get. So it's not in terms of pushing the platform, but I don't think it hinders you from getting the job. What hinders you is how you apply. And another thing you should also take a look at is, I think in Upwork, maybe I should open my phone. A particular country and say, okay, I'm only hiring people from USA. If you see a job description like that, except if you are top rated with many job reviews already, do not apply. You end up wasting your connect because the client is only looking for USA people, and the only exception will be really good, which they think good is top rated. Then there are also those that they will say they want people that have made up to $1,000. So I'm looking for a job that has something like that. So you see it on Upwork anyways. After the job description site, when you scroll down a bit, you see that you see jobs that they say, okay, they want you to have worked for maybe 23 hours or 10,000 hours. They want you to have made so and so amount. So if you don't get to that, only apply if you are top rated. Else, apply for another job. The problem is not that you are Nigerian. The problem is you do not fit that criteria. The another thing I've noticed is, I will talk from my own experience. For example, with SEO, when I try to employ Nigerians, I noticed that many of us, I'm not saying we're all like this, but I've noticed that many of us do not know what we are doing. We assume that for SEO, for example, is about keyword, just putting keywords and making it bold. Google doesn't accept that. There have been many algorithm updates. They don't accept that anymore. So when you see things like that, what is limiting you is that you did not update your skill, not that you are a Nigerian. So you should look at, like I said, the criteria that the client puts. Secondly, ensure that you're always updating your skill. And third, do not apply like as if you have not been speaking English before. When that's on that yes, that's a problem many clients in English speaking countries have with third world nations. For example, if you are dealing with an Indian, you would know once that you are dealing with an Indian. Their written English is not so great, but they are good with programming. So many clients are okay with employing them to be programmers, but not writers, because of the English barrier, which is on that thing. The fact that you're a Nigerian, you're spoken English all your life doesn't mean you're best at English. You need to ensure that you are upgrading your English, and to help you, you can use tools like Grammarly. So before you send your application, and if it's UK, see it on Upwork. If it's US, ensure you are using US grammar. For example, if you're spelling
where you said we should install
that, sorry.
a tool like Grammarly, we missed you there.
To like grammar before you send your applications, run it through grammar, and that's the every grammar, everything is in place. And if the client is in US, for example, do not use your normal nice. That's in line with English. Anytime they want you to write, maybe I write, I want to write article, they would want someone that US, Indian, and every playlist and all of that. So which is another reason why you should run it through tools like Grammarly. You can run it to American, run it through it, ensure your grammar is in charge. And if you want to take it even further, you can pay for a Grammarly subscription if you have the money. But if you don't, there's a free plan where you can run certain things too, but you need to ensure your English is on that third word, even though we're third word, but that's the idea it gets when they see such applications. So what hinders you is not really the profile. I was once approached by a Nigerian last year. He had seen my profile and he sent me a message wrong. And the first thing I saw was Nigerian prints of. I didn't get that, sorry.
We can't hear you. Where you said you were approached by Nigerian, you
Yes,
need to pray for this internet.
I'm tired though. In this area, it's not so good. And I'm even using the best here that at least I've tested. So I don't even know.
My internet is stopped in my kitchen, so that's the best place. But
It's just, except if it's in the night, it's not so great. So anyway, so I was approached by the Nigerian. He had seen my profile and he said, okay, as a Nigerian, I should look at his to know what is wrong and why he's not getting jobs. And the first thing I saw in his headline was Nigerian prints offering copywriting. Do not use words that are frowned at in the international community. First, everybody knows that when they hear Nigerian prints, they think of fraudster 419. So that was the first thing I told him. Your headline is the one killing. Is the first thing that is killing you. You can't use something like that. Nobody cares if you're royalty, even if you're actually a Nigerian prince. Nobody cares. If you use something like that, people think of you are exactly.
I said, who knows in Nigeria will not hire him.
Exactly. No, but your headline matters. You cannot use something that will make people think you are not going to offer the best, or you're not going to, or you're a fraudster. So there are two things that are also important aside your cover letter, which I'm sure Benga touched on, which is your profile description and your line. So because your headline also help you get in terms of where Upwork will place you when recommending you to clients. So you need to use your skill. Don't just put something like professional, not only an SEO writer. There'll be many SEO writers. You need to use something that is also benefit oriented. You can say something like SEO writer that improves ranking, tested or something, or results from, you need to show your results. Then in your profile description, you should also put, the results you are giving to clients, what you are offering, and what clients get from you. So those two things would also affect whether clients are going to employ you, because even after seeing that your cover letter looks great, if I had seen that Nigerian prince's cover letter, it looks great, and I went to his profile and saw that Nigerian prince, I would not employ that person. It's just terrible. So do not use words that are not so great, and not just you go with your offer. Don't just say SEO writer only, like I said. Add it, use it, but also add it to a benefit. So like I said, you have to be a salesperson to be accepted. Salesperson, your sales skills need to be top notch. you have to have good grammar, written English. They may not have video conversations with you, so your audio skills, you can leave it however it is, but your written English needs to be top notch. So I recommended Grammarly. I've used it for years now, and I've liked it. So that's something. Then thirdly, if you don't have jobs on your profile, if you don't have reviews already, many reviews, ensure that you always submit a what you have done job kind of thing when applying. And if you don't have one yet and you see this is a job you really want to do, quickly go and do so. I get the example of the SEO auditor the client asked me. It took me 8 hours though to do that, which was a very long time, but I had already promised the client, okay, I need to remove some for privacy's sake. I just had to give an excuse so the client would wait for me. So before you apply, ensure that you are submitting a job that you have done previously that is similar to what the client is looking for, and that your example is top notch. Submit your best example, and if you don't have one, go and create one immediately before you apply. And do not just submit any examples. For example, if the client is looking for, let's say, blog writing in travel, don't go and submit blog writing in e-commerce. The client is looking for travel examples, not e-commerce. If the client is saying, I want to see your research skills, don't go and submit fiction. The client is not looking to see how good you can write romance. The client is looking for how well you can put together information from the internet. So those are things you should think of. Ensure your examples are in line with the job description.
That's it. So now it's not about being a Nigerian, it's about not
It's how you
really
position
about
yourself.
positioning and applying for jobs you are not qualified for or that don't meet requirements and a lot of other things that you can
Yes.
say. Wow, thank you. So the next
Except
question.
to the requirement thing is only if you are top rated. They are likely to accept you if you are top rated already in terms of that requirement. So you can be in Nigerian, and even if they ask for Americans, you can still apply if you are top rated.
So if you are not updated and you say Philippines, go apply.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so the next one, talking about profiles, said, how can I set my profile to fit into the criteria and be able to have a stable account and income?
I didn't get that, sorry.
He said, how can I set my work profile to fit
Mm-hmm.
into the criteria, be able to have a stable account and income? I think you've touched on that, but I think you should also, you focused on headlines. Can you touch one bit on the profile? Can I
Okay.
just copy and paste my work profile that is on LinkedIn and paste on Upwork?
Well, if you depend on what's on your LinkedIn profile. So, first off, your profile description, it's something that's very important. Do not write just anything. Do not write just anything. There are many. If you don't know what, because like I said, ensure you are telling them what you are going to do, how you are going to do it, and what they are going to get from you. It doesn't have to be in that order. You can start from your benefits, then what you are going to do and how you are going to do it. But it must be eye catching. And if you don't know how to write, let's say your services, maybe social media strategy, so you're not so good at sales, so you don't really know how to write good copy. What you can do is look at other top rated profiles in your industry to get an Upwork, that is, to get an idea of how to write it. So I think when I initially started, I've edited my profile a lot of times over the years, over the months or the 2 years. So one thing I did was I initially did not have reviews in my profile description because I thought, there's reviews on the job search already. But then I realized that some clients, the moment they get your profile, the first thing they'll see is your headline and description. And if it doesn't capture them, they are not going to scroll down to check the job review. So what I did was I copied a review from a client, a glowing review, and put it at the top of my job description. So not say you shouldn't say something like, oh, it's a good writer. It has to be something that is really, thick. That when a client sees it, like, okay, let me see what more this person is doing to have gotten that great review. So when you are writing that, ensure you are like I said, what you are offering, how you are going to offer it, and the benefits. It doesn't have to be in that order because for me,
the thing I'm upping is actually close to the end of my job, my Upwork profile. What I'm upping is close to the end. I think it's about 3 to 4 lines at the end of my profile description. So those 3 things, anyways, they must be in your job Upwork description. Sorry. Then another thing is, I think recently Upwork started allowing people to add projects that they have done outside Upwork to the platform. I have not utilized it, but I feel like that's a good opportunity, especially for new freelancers. If you are new, you don't have any, you need to show that you have done things before. So you can put it in that project part. You can also upload portfolios. And in some cases, some clients need it. They want, they have gone to school, a school of some sort. You can also upload school or trainings you have done. And for example, with copywriting, clients like to see that you have done things like copywriting aside the job you have done, some courses that are related. So if you have done such things, even if it's a free online course, you can also put it in your profile that you have done this. So utilize all those sections. And previously, Upwork was doing tests, but I doubt if they still do it now, where you can write a test in your service. Maybe if you're in copyright, give you a test for copywriting, but I doubt doing that. So I think before we move to the next question, I'm sorry to
interrupt. There's a question on the message board saying if you're new in Upwork, what do one give as an example? I think that was based on the previous answer I gave, where I said you must submit examples. Remember, I also mentioned that if you don't have one, create one before you submit. So create one before you submit, even if you are new. It doesn't have to be so in-depth. You can just tell the client that, maybe it was ghostwritten, so you can't really submit everything. But you have to have a very quality example to submit. It can be a fake example. You can just think, the client is looking for a travel topic. Write a travel topic, even though you're not publishing it, and send it over. Alamide, can you hear me? Hello?
Phone was on mute. I can hear you.
Yeah.
My mic was on mute, but I can hear you. So thank you for that. Let me go to the next question. He said, so we've talked about how to find jobs. Now this is someone is asking. He said, I'm a student in the university. I seem to have keen word editing skills and can freelance as a proofreader. How do I get jobs even though I do not have any professional experience? Then the second one is also about proofreading. He said, thank you. I provide document proofreading and editing services offline, but I have struggled getting my Upwork account verified over the years and haven't gotten any job online. How do I resolve this?
Okay, for the second question, the verification thing is what I mentioned earlier. The main thing, the first hurdle, which is really the biggest, is getting verified. So you need, if you have not been accepted by Upwork, just choose your proofreading as your skill, but also add any other skill that is in demand to ensure that you are accepted on Upwork. And after that, you start for proofreading jobs. Then for proofreading jobs, I think I've noticed that except books, so it's only ebooks are seeing proofreading jobs being placed there. There are not so many proofreaders. So aside ebooks, but they are editing of those. So if you can mix proofreading and editing, you should not excel your profile to proofreading, since as a proofreader, I believe you might, or you should still be editing that thing. So you can tell your profile to proofreading and editing, because editing is also in demand, and start offering those services. And like I said, when submitting to jobs, submit a quality job that you have done previously. And as a proofreader, it means the example you are giving does not have any error. So if it has one or two, it disqualifies you. You are a proofreader, you're supposed to have seen everything. As a writer, if you have one or two errors, you might still be fine. But as a proofreader or an editor, there shouldn't be errors in your example. So ensure that even though you have read it yourself, like I said, one thing with Nigerian English is what we think is right might not be right, actually. So also use the help of tools like Grammarly, and as a proofreader, you should invest in the premium Grammarly, premium subscription. Maybe other skills might be okay with the free one, but as a proofreader, you should invest in paid tools that would help you. That's that. Live day, you're still on mute too.
Sorry about that. So I think the next question, you already answered it, so I don't need to ask. The person is asking how he has never been hired on Upwork after applying several times. I think so how to write proposal to land a freelance job on Upwork. I think we already touched that, how to write proposals. Then
Right, proposals, and I'll give an extra tip. Even after using the tips I've given here earlier, another thing that would help you would be to have someone you can share your proposals with to vet them. And it should not just be just anyone. If you have someone that has had success on Upwork, you can share it to that person. Or if you have someone that has been an employer of some sort. Because there's a difference between when you are a person that keeps submitting for jobs, and when you are on the client side of things, then you know, okay, there's a big difference in these two. So if you have had someone that has been an employer at some point, give to the person, what does the person think, and someone that also have seen, success on Upwork. So that's where mentorship comes in, which I think Benga has something in that area. So you should look into getting people like that would go through at least at the initial stage your proposals to say, okay, you need to change this, you need to change that. And remember, your proposal should not be too long. Many clients are not looking to read episodes. And look at the job length. I once saw a job length of, I think, 2 lines. And if you see something like that and you're going to submit 12 lines, the client, what you're writing is really important. So ensure that if you can say something in 1 word, do not use 5 words to say it. As that.
And we as Nigerians, even me, I do that. I'm guilty of that. Right? Instead of using and, I say and or and oh. So please, you heard that. Then I provide document proofreading services, but have struggled getting with that's another one on me. So now I know Benga talked about payments. So I really don't want us to talk so much about it. But from your own experience, how do you get paid? How do you withdraw your money? How does the payment thing on Upwork work?
I've used 3 options on Upwork to withdraw my money, and I like the most recent one that I've used, which is through my domiciliary account. That way, Upwork does not give me funny rates, because Upwork rates generally is around 30 naira lower than the market rate. So I've used, you can do international wire transfer, but that would only favor you if you are withdrawing a lot, because for international wire transfer, Upwork takes $30. So if you are withdrawing a lot of money, it will favor you because you're not going to pay a lot. Then another option to use is through Payoneer. I do not have a Payoneer card, but when I use Payoneer, I think Upwork will take only $2 to withdraw. When I use Payoneer, I used to exchange my Payoneer dollars for Naira through Naira Land. There's also places where you meet online exchangers. But before you do that, before you choose any exchanger, be sure they are not fraudulent. Because, for example, on Naira Land, you can search a thread to know who they have said is a fraud. And because if you send your hard-earned dollars to someone that would not pay you your Naira, it will be very painful to end in tears, premium tears. So, so you need to, if you use the Payoneer route, you need to be sure that whoever you are exchanging it through, the online exchanger, is a trusted source. It's from a trusted source, and I think for those that choose to use a Payoneer card, you can also do that, but you'll be at the mercy of your bank's exchange rates, which may not be so great. Then the other option is to withdraw directly to your Nigerian bank account. There's a Nigerian Naira bank account option there, but like I said, Upwork has the exchange rate, which may not be good. Can I remember the time our bookies were exchanging dollars for 360? Upwork's rate was around 320. You see a huge difference. So by the time you are exchanging a lot of money, let's say $100, which is even a bit, you would realize you are losing around 1,000. Which, I mean, for some, that's still a lot. It can still get you through feeding yourself for maybe a week or two. So I mean, it's something if you can get the domiciliary account, that's my own best option. But to withdraw, ensure you are withdrawing a huge amount of money. So when you withdraw through international wire transfer to your domiciliary account, you can go to an aboki and ensure you are using a trusted aboki too. Some of them are frauds. Those ones, aside those ones in you just see on the road shouting dollar dollar before you go and meet someone that would run away with your money or give you a terrible exchange rate. Sometimes banks recommend abokis. Like mine it was gotten from my bank branch. So
thank you so much, Jite. I think we've covered everything. We have 15 minutes more, and it's a good time for you to ask your questions in the chat so that Jite can answer them. If you can hear us, Jite and I, sure, please send your questions in the comments, the chat box. We have 15 minutes more. I know someone shared something earlier.
yeah, I'm
Did
trying
she
to.
say grammar? If you can scroll up the floor is
Yeah.
yours now.
Okay. Okay. I think the first question I can see here that from Onyechi. You have been trying to edit the education and work experience option for Upwork, and each time it goes off. I haven't experienced this problem, so it's probably from Upwork. Maybe their servers are, I don't know, maybe their code is having issues. So I have not experienced this problem, so I cannot answer. Maybe you should send a live chat with Upwork or something and tell them what you're experiencing, and they'll guide you. You can also try using another phone or okay, the next question from Wally. I'm learning an IT skill right now, but I'm an academic writer. Can I include both of them in my skill section? Um, these are two very different skills. IT is completely different from writing. So if you are saying you want to be an IT writer, technology writer, you can mix both, but academic writing is completely different. Um, you would have to decide which you are going to start with. So if you are already making money on academic writing, you might have to concentrate on that and maybe in the future change your profile to IT, but it will be hard to get IT jobs when all you're seeing on your profile is academic jobs. So if for things that are very different like this, it's hard to include both of them on your profile. So and since you are just learning the IT skill, I doubt if you are just learning, so you might not be an expert. So for now, for the IT skill, you can use other options to get a job like LinkedIn. There you can get remote jobs on LinkedIn for IT. You can also use Fiverr. I guess that's that for that. Okay, if you need to, okay, I've answered this new to Upwork question. Mm, Okay, the price range for someone with no experience. Okay, I have answered that. I said a safe point to be below $20. So anywhere from 8 to 20 is fine for for someone that is new to the platform. But if you have no experience, what do you exactly mean by no experience? Is it that you have not practiced your skill at all? You need to at least have practice to really know what you can offer. So 8 to 20 is fine, but if you really, really have not had industry experience of no at all, maybe you should stay at 8 and see if that would help you. But like I said, do not go too low. If you choose something like 2 or 5, they may think what you're offering is not of good quality. Okay, how about using PayPal? Well, you can use PayPal if you're not in Nigeria. I think the only option to use PayPal now for Nigerians is through a PayPal business account, which you cannot use from Upwork, I think, because you would need a website to collect money through a PayPal business account. So I don't know, I've not tried that option. So if your PayPal account allows receiving, I guess you can use PayPal. Have your number, other options so that I can contact you. Okay, I guess I would share maybe my email address and before the end of this, so you can send me an email.
Jite
Okay.
is a very private person. She's an introvert. She's not like Inka. So she likes her space. So
Well, so
don't
sometimes you need to be known now.
don't be offended if
so
she doesn't share.
so I would maybe email or WhatsApp number. I don't know. Before the end of this, I would share something.
Your email.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone has asked this. Yeah, I've talked about signing up on Upwork, and I think Benga also touched on it when I
You need
said to
to watch Bengas to get
watch
because
Benga.
Benga is
Yes, he really went deep into that. So, and I mentioned this a bit at the beginning of the video of this session when I talked about skills to choose so that you get accepted and every other thing, your profile description and headline. So are there any other questions?
okay. Good. Jite told you doing courses on Upwork or what courses are you doing? Are you
Okay,
planning to?
yeah,
So sorry.
I recently launched a platform to offer courses on business and digital marketing. So for now, the digital marketing courses that we are focused on are SEO, social media, and PPC. So we don't have email marketing yet, but we also have business in terms of from getting idea generation to getting funds to getting your first clients. But we are still at the pre-launch stage though. But if you sign up now, you can get a 50% up to 50% discount. Like I said, pre-launch. So if you are looking to learn SEO, you don't know anything on SEO, there are in-depth courses on that, and also support. We have a Slack group for anybody that signs up. So we would have a whole community where people that would help you out and every other thing. So it's something you really need to look into. So if you're looking to improve your skills, be it in social media, from social media strategies, social media audits, creating content, everything, advertising and all of that, you should also look into it as well. So I don't know if I should drop the URL here for the website or
Oh,
is
so you
it?
can type it and say the name too for those
Okay,
who be
the name
listening to
is
this.
okay. The name is Market Ardent. MarketArdent.com is the website. Ardent is ARDENT. MarketArdent.com. So it's on business and market. So
Okay, you can type it in the chat box. So I think that's all about that. Have you typed it in the chat box?
yes, I have.
Okay, because I haven't seen it. So everyone, I like to say thank you. So I think it's right to sell myself to what should I say? But I'm going to sell my platform. So the idea of me coming together with these trainings, I'm going to be having more trainings as the months go by, where I'll be inviting people. Some will be physical trainings on tech, digital, and core skills. Like Jite has said, a lot of us are digital marketers. Everybody's can manage social media now, but the future of digital marketing is specialization. So you need to specialize either in email marketing. So we're going to be having these trainings where we invite. Some will be free, just like this ones, and some will be paid. Imagine if you were to pay for the last two trainings, it's going to be a lot of money, between 5 to 10K and all. But we're going to have this, and the idea is we don't know what coronavirus is doing to the world. We don't understand the effect or the impact it's having right now until it is over. Then everybody's like will now come down like, hey. So you don't want that to meet you unawares. So from my website, olamideyellow.com, I'm going to be sending you emails. I'm not going to spam you because I also don't like spamming. But if there are information you should know, opportunities, remote opportunities, work, I'll share that with you. So we hope to hear from me. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel because this is going to be there. This video or audio, depending on how it is recorded, will be there. And subscribe, and I'll share more information with you. You can get details number.
Okay, I think I'm seeing someone asking, I think a question we missed earlier. I think they asked it a bit late. So before we close this session, because we're about to close, let me just quickly answer that. I think from Chuku Gozie, that said, how payable and non-tech jobs? I mean, although I'm on the side a web designer, I don't offer that on Upwork. My on Upwork is just SEO, SEO and copywriting, and that is not IT. So, and I'm getting really a bit of it is a bit of SEO, but it's not really, and I'm able to get a lot from that. So there are lots of high quality, high paying, non-technical jobs. Job bidding process. I think recently Upwork, before Upwork will give you 6 connects every month, where every job you see the number of connects I'm taking from you. But now I think you only have a certain number of connects. If you finish that, you would have to buy connect, I think. But if the client doesn't employ anybody, your connects will get back to you. So essentially when you apply for a job, if you have 50 connects and the job takes 6 connects will be removed from your connects. But if the employer doesn't employ anybody, you get your connects back.
Apart from Upwork, what other platforms? Upwork for now, I think in terms of my experience, I've seen Upwork has top high quality jobs, and due to the fact that they have a vetting process, they don't have many freelancers that are or clients that are spammy. Unlike if you go to freelancer.com now, you see a lot of scam clients that you do jobs for, they will not pay you. Unlike Upwork, once Upwork notice a client is spammy, they would suspend that client's account. And another way to protect yourself is to take hourly jobs. If you do hourly jobs and you do use the Upwork's time tracker, even if the client removes their card, Upwork will use their money to pay you as long as you use the time tracker, so you still get paid. Then I think there's also Fiverr. Fiverr works, but it takes a lot of time before you can get to a point where you can really earn a lot from Fiverr, because there are many people offering that same service. So you would have to start from really low paying until you get so many, maybe until you're a level 2 seller before you can really make so much money from Fiverr. And there's also people per hour. In my first month on people per hour, I got 2 jobs, but I haven't really concentrated on it much since then, so I can't really say, but that's that. I think that's all the questions.
Ask a final question. So you are encouraging hourly.
Yes. That's
Yes. To be their staff. You can be a staff of a company from Upwork, right?
You can be many clients get their staff from Upwork. You be a remote staff, but even if you are not, you can still say, okay, this is job I want to be paid. This is how I'm working. This contract, the client is, before they create a milestone, the client will put their money in escrow. But the client can tell Upwork that you never did anything, and depending on what Upwork judges on the hosting, they might not give you the money. But if you use the time tracker on an hourly job, you will be sure to get paid, even though the client will say, no, I didn't, or whatever. Upwork would look at how you use the time tracker. If you were working during the time tracker was taking screenshots, how many keyboard notes you made, and every other thing. So that's it. But fixed jobs are so good anyways. Just ensure that before you start any job, the money is already in escrow, or at least it's an hourly job.
Okay.
So money is in escrow, or to send you.
I think we are right on time. We have 1 minute. Hello, Jite. Are you saying something? Okay.
No.
Okay. So I think we've pretty much covered all of what we wanted to say. I think with what we have learned last week and today, uh, we should be good to go. Me, I've particularly learned not to apply for jobs above my range. Maybe I'm not my location. I see myself applying for jobs. Okay, Philippines. Even Upwork will tell me you are not qualified, but they will even tell the client that you are not
Yeah.
qualified, for that role because of your location and all of that. So thank you all for joining. Like I said, I'll be reaching out to you, not bumper to bumper emails and all of that, but you hear from me because I'm really passionate about helping people, young people like me, and older people who really need passive income. Because the way it is going, there's no one way to enter market right now. So please try to check out all of these things. Go and listen again to Benga's session. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel between tomorrow and next. Make sure you listen to it and check some of the notes